Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. This is it.
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I am Sam Nifty Delaney. So what?
Welcome along to a bonus episode. We're calling this Noelplay Special. And it's because renowned Top Flight Time Machine person of interest, Noel Edmonds, has been in the news on more than one occasion over the last week or so. And we thought we should round up what he's been doing, try and assess it, take a look at what's happening through the Top Flight Time Machine jeweler's eyepiece, if you like.
He doesn't pop his head up much anymore above the parapet, but when he does,
it's big.
We feel duty bound to respond.
We should do these in order of when they were revealed, because first of all, this was about 5 days ago, I think. He was photographed during a visit to the UK at a cafe, the Laxey Beach Stop Cafe. I don't know where Laxey is. I assume it's the south. I don't think Noel travels north all that often. Although he did in the early 1980s. There was a summer fete in the little village next to Shiny Row called Harrington. Harrington Burn had a YMCA, and they'd do a summer fete every year, and there'd always be a big star that would open the fete. It was a big deal, and Noel Edmonds did it at least once, and he arrived in his fucking helicopter and landed it in the field in the middle of this summer fete where the police dog display would take place. So Edmonds arrives out of the sky, jumps out the helicopter, all right cunts, signs a few autographs, gets a few photographs taken. I declare this fucking whatever it is well and truly open. Snap, snap, snap. Sign, sign, sign.
TTFN, dickheads.
Right, that's me 40 minutes. Ta-ra! Whoop, off up in the sky again. He did it. Chegwin did it one year.
Yeah.
Ken Dodd did it.
That's a pretty impressive lineup.
Yeah, we used to get some big stars in. I stood in line to get an autograph from Ken Dodd when he did it.
Yeah.
And he was sat behind this, what was only described as a picnic table, and his hair, which is usually quite spiky and excitable, was just sort of flat. He'd flattened it.
Oh, he's disappointed.
I was disappointed, yeah. And there was a pint, half drunk pint of warm beer,
right,
just on the floor next to his table where he was doing signatures. None of the Diddy men were there. He didn't have his tickling stick out. It was very
I tell you what's your name, kid? Andy. Well, Andy, take it from me. Do not get involved in show business.
This is shit business, son.
20 years ago, if you'd asked me, I would have said best business in the world. Go for it. Since then, it's just not the same. Look at me now. Do you want to? Let me ask you. Hey, do you want a sip of warm beer, Andy? No, thank you. I'm only 10. Okay, suit yourself. I find it helps, though.
I've got my theories about what's happened and what's changed, but I can boil it down to 2 words. Channel 4. That's been the fucking death knell of variety as far as I'm concerned, because everybody's just interested in fucking Czechoslovakian fucking cartoons full of little fucking animals having it off.
Right. Well, yeah. They have what they call comedy, but I tell you what, it's not what I'd call comedy, or most ordinary British people would call comedy. As far as I'm concerned, it's just people swearing.
Yeah, yes, they say it's politically correct. I don't agree it is, because I don't think swearing is correct. I think it's awful. I've never sworn all my life. On stage, anyway. Yeah, you've got fucking Lenny Henry. What's funny about that? You know what I mean? What's funny about him?
It's actually cruel, some of the stuff.
He did an impersonation of me at one point on New Faces. I nearly fucking sued the cunt.
I was fucking spitting feathers. I was on the phone to my agent, who was on holiday at the time, but I tracked the cunt down. He was on his honeymoon. I tracked the cunt down in the Dordogne, right, in his hotel room. 2 a.m. it was there. I'd had a few drinks. I said, get your fucking ass back to Blighty now. There's some fucking cunt from Birmingham on fucking New Faces ripping off my act and calling it an impersonation.
Yeah. So that was underwhelming. But yeah, Edmonds arrived in the helicopter and then fucked off again about 40 minutes later. Spectacular. So he has been north.
What was it? This was a local fete, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, summer fair.
That's
It
pretty
used to be on
good.
every year. It was brilliant.
My school summer fair one year had Chris Barry off of Red Dwarf.
Fucking hell.
Hosted it. Yeah,
That's not as good as Noel Edmonds.
He lived near. It's not as good, is it?
No.
And I think one year, I want to say, I didn't see this, but another act that were local, in my opinion, better than Chris Barry. Although I do like Chris Barry. The British Empire was really good, wasn't it? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the Pasadenas.
All of them?
Yeah. They were local. I don't think I was there. Maybe it was after I left, but I knew they were local. And I think it was after they were in their imperial phase. But I think they performed. So I would say that's not quite on the same level as Edmonds and Chegwin, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Here's the thing. Laxey Beach Cafe is on the Isle of Man. Noel has chosen to go to the Isle of Man. What's the story there? That doesn't
Interesting.
seem...
That's always a red flag, isn't it?
Yeah. Is he trying to buy the Isle of Man, do you think?
Wouldn't put it past him.
That wouldn't be a surprise if he did.
But isn't it a tax haven, mate? For all we know, for his tax affairs, he's obliged to spend a certain number of days on the Isle of Man a year. So he fucking private jets it from New Zealand, like, several times a year just to sort of fulfil his obligations to the tax man on the Isle of Man.
The Isle of
Plausible.
Man operates a simple taxation regime. Lower rate is 10%, upper rate is only 22%. There you go.
There you go. Similar to Guernsey. The only
Fucking
problem
hell.
is it's much further north, so I'm guessing the weather's shit.
Wow.
I knew that. Do you remember Stuart Baggsy from
Yes,
The
the late
Apprentice?
Stuart Baggs.
He was from the Isle of Man.
No longer with us, of course.
I got to know him a little bit. In fact, I've got a photo of him. I've got a photo of myself kissing him on the cheek.
Nice.
He was a colourful and engaging character, but unfortunately,
Yes.
he was from the Isle of Man, so that was a red flag. And then, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, didn't he?
It's all linked, I guess. It's all
Yeah.
linked. So Noel has been on the Isle of Man. We assume, there's some kind of something is afoot, which brings us onto his shoes. He's got 2 different shoes on in the photograph at the Laxey Beach Cafe. He's holding an ice cream. He's got his arm around the shoulder of one of the ladies, the elder of the 2 ladies. Yeah, 2 different shoes. One, it says here in this piece, brown Chelsea boot, and a lighter coloured lace-up shoe on his right foot.
It's amazing. His hair is really, really knolly at the moment.
Yeah.
It's big. It's brash.
It's a little bit flat though. I've seen
on
it.
top, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the spike.
It's a
that
bit
it
Ken
sometimes
Dodd,
has.
1984.
The beard's in good shape.
Summer
He's brandishing an ice cream. I reckon he didn't eat that ice cream because he's very particular about what he eats. He's a
Puts
health
in his
freak.
body. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember what he said to me? I don't know, but I said, what do you eat when you're filming? My gorgeous wife or girlfriend, whatever she was, brings me something freshly cooked like a nice piece of grilled chicken with some vegetables. It's not much, but I tell you this, it's better than scoffing some fucking supermarket sandwich that'll probably give you cancer. I thought, fucking hell. Calm down. I was probably thinking about the fucking supermarket sandwich earlier today. You don't have to bring cancer into it.
By the way, did I tell you I've invented this box that can cure cancer? There it is.
If you have been
Whirring
eating
away in the
supermarket cancer sandwiches, then give me a call because I might be able to cure you with my electric box.
Full of vibes, positive vibes. I've poured in there myself.
The shoe thing is mad, and thank you to all of the eagle-eyed listeners who got in touch to point this out, because some of the press, I'm just looking at it now, like, oh no, actually the press, yeah, I'm looking at it on the Daily Mail website. and they did spot it. So well done to the picture editor at the Daily Mail, and well done, Noel. It's cheeky, but it's subtle, and that's what makes it great Noelplay. He's like, I'm gonna have a little bit of fun here.
Yeah.
I'm going back to Blighty. I'm gonna give them I'm just gonna give them a nibble.
I'm not going to
give them much.
skulk in. I'm going to give them something.
I'm going to give them something, but just one thing. It's going to be a photo, and keep an eye out because there's going to be something a bit, let's say, unusual in this particular photograph that'll just remind the British public that Noel's
What
still
I'm all
got
about.
it.
It's going to be one for the zoom-in wankers out there.
Mischievous.
Not going to be
There's one
immediately
word
apparent.
I am synonymous with. It's mischief.
It's going to be one for the, I think they call them the online detectives out there.
Yeah. Mate, there was a video. He put a video out. There's been these accusations about him sacking a bunch of his...
Well, hold on. There's more on the shoe thing because there's a quote from the owner of the cafe. He was there last year as well, and he helped serve customers in the same cafe last year. So he's a regular visitor to the Isle of Man, which further adds weight to our theory that he's there for tax reasons. The owner said he did about 20 minutes and people loved him. Noel loved the idea of our community cafe as he owns one in New Zealand. He talked to us about our cafe as well as talking about his own business. Yes, I'm sure he did talk about his own business quite a lot. Keen to know more about his shoe choice, the cafe owner said. When we asked him about it, he said he started off wearing odd socks and then took it further to wear odd shoes. He wanted to start a new trend, and it's something that's apparently been picked up by others in New Zealand. And we've only got his word for that. But
wearing odd shoes, I invented that. And if you go round, I came up with the idea. It was just a bit of mischief, but it took off. And if you go to New Zealand now, every cunt does it. And if you ask them why, they'll tell you it was me. I started it. I don't get paid for it. I don't want paying for it, but I'm just saying it was my idea.
It's my gift to the world, if you like.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this on the Express website, and there's one comment underneath the story 5 days ago by somebody called Nobody's Fool, who simply says, always loathed tidy beard.
It's amazing. I mean, it's amazing the amount of people. I know people, like personally, who, when I bring up Noel Edmonds, which I do, I'll admit, I bring him up
regularly,
quite regularly, right? And I know people that I'm close to who become, they're not in, no one's indifferent about him. And a lot of people go, that commenter there used the word loathe, which is a pretty extreme word, isn't it? They go, I loathe him. And some people loathe him, and I can't get my head around why you would loathe Noel Edmonds. Like, you might not love him, right? I mean, obviously, I think like you just find him endlessly fascinating, but I also think he's got a rare talent to entertain, right?
Completely.
A strange one that is impossible to. I've thought about it a lot, and it's a mystery. But he's got something. I don't know what it is. It can't be distilled. It can't be bottled.
That's exactly why it works, because you can't describe it. You can't pin it down.
It's Noelplay. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, completely.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
Do you remember when he turned up on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here? How exciting was that?
It was one of the most exciting things
camp
ever.
King for like about 4 days, then he fucked off again.
See you, cunts.
It's brilliant.
Noel out.
Yeah. Contractual obligation ended.
This is a joke. I've had a look around your production team. They're amateurs and kids mostly. This show has got a lot of potential that, in my opinion, is completely wasted.
It's a fucking nightmare. So on to the second story. Noel has sacked staff at his winery in New Zealand. Apparently, he's fired 17 staff with just a day's notice. The River Haven winery staff have said to be blindsided when he terminated their employment out of the blue after deciding to shut up shop for winter. He'd recently asked the staff for ideas on how to keep the business going during the winter months. But then one former employee said at 4 p.m. on Saturday, 27th of April, one of the managers took a group of us into a back room and said, "Tomorrow's your last day." The next day, Noel appeared and was cracking jokes. There was no apology. No one has been told anything about future work. It's disgusting.
Cracking jokes. Hi, guys. Listen, I know you're going to be out of work soon, so I've arranged for Blobby to come over and cheer you up on your last day. He's going to come in and reap a load of fucking mayhem.
It's reminiscent of Alan Partridge, where he wound up Pear Tree Productions that
and
time.
And locked them all in a room.
Yeah. But he couldn't do that because he might need to employ them again. When summer
he's
comes.
done a response video, Andy. Have you seen this?
No,
and
I haven't.
His face, I'm watching it at the moment, and his face is so serious, right?
Yeah.
That I just think we're going to have to watch it. I'm going to play it out. You can tell me if it gets boring. Tell me to stop.
How long is it?
But it's 1 minute 29.
17 minutes long.
All it says is this. In quote marks as a headline on this video, untrue and malicious. Noel Edmonds hits back at New Zealand claims.
Let's have it.
Okay, here we go. Oh, there's an ad first, unfortunately.
No.
I'll just wait for that to pass, and then you're going to hear it. But it's just to set the scene. It's a super close up, zoom in on his face. And he's doing, sometimes he goes, he drops the mischief and he goes very earnest.
Yeah.
And that is the vibe of this video, because I've only seen it with the sound down. He's very, very serious. So you're about to hear some pretty hardcore Noel play.
Okay.
Here we go.
I normally totally ignore attacks on me by the tabloid press, but today's Sun has written such an untrue story and such a malicious story that I have to respond. Apparently, I am so crushed following my experience on I'm a Celebrity that I'm putting my house on the market and I am skulking off to New Zealand. Now, the Sun were told last week that it's complete lies.
This is
really old. Yeah, this is really old. The Mail have embedded a really old video, and it's worked. It was a trick. It was clickbait. They put it in. They go, Noel responds to New Zealand claims. Right, and that makes you think these claims, but in fact, this is from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when he first moved to New Zealand. Fucking, this is, usually, like most people, I have not most people, most right-minded people, most listeners to this podcast, I would imagine, don't go on the Mail website because then you're playing their game, you're giving them clicks, you're earning them money. And I've just made that mistake, and they've hoodwinked me into clicking that. I mean, it's still a video worth watching, but we won't watch it now.
No, it's for another time.
I've seen it before.
We probably also need to look at the Wogan interview that he did after the death of Michael Lush on the Late Late Breakfast Show, where he went on for 10 minutes and talked about himself and how he was impacted by it all.
Yeah.
And spent very little time expressing any kind of sympathy for the tragic death of Michael Lush. It's very scary. I think.
Yes.
We could history box that at some point. To get back to the winery, it says a notice on the website for the winery: staff are taking a well-earned break over winter, unpaid, I guess. It's unclear whether the staff were permanent or seasonal workers. And that's kind of it, really. We don't know what's going to happen to the winery, if it'll become back bigger and better in the summer. It's confusing anyway, because their summer is our winter and vice versa. So,
I mean, Noel's not responsible for that, but that would have definitely been one of the features of New Zealand that appealed to him, because that in itself is mischievous.
Because backwards is forwards, and
I like them.
They
they defy conventional expectations. They play around with convention. They keep you guessing, just like me.
Reminds me very much of one of my favourite books, Mr. Silly. Actually, Mr. Topsy Turvy is the one where everything is. That's the one we should be doing instead of Mr. Silly. We've got plans
I
to
actually
deep dive
pitched
Mr. Silly.
A game show idea based on the concept behind Mr. Topsy Turvy to the BBC, But of course, they're fucking small-minded. They're small-minded pen pushers.
Careful,
getting
careful.
fat.
Don't say too much because this feels good. We could do this, whatever it is. Mr. Topsy-Turvy related game show. I like the sound
Getting
of it.
fat at the expense of public finances, and too fucking small-minded to understand a great fucking idea when it comes and slaps them in the face. So fuck them. I moved to New Zealand.
Yeah, Bezos is here. Crowded House are here. All the big names. It's not the first time Edmonds has butted heads with his residents in his adopted neighbourhood in New Zealand's South Island. He became embroiled in a dispute with the local council after asked to consider the possibility of allowing a cycling trail to pass through his land rather than a longer highway. He was told the trail could bring thousands of visitors to his winery each year, but he refused, calling the idea dangerous and a waste of money.
I hate wasting money, and I hate putting members of the public in danger. Believe me, I learnt my lesson in the 80s on British television.
Breakfast show. According to Belinda...
I was started to say the other day, someone shared a clip of him. I think it was Nigel Adderley sent us a clip of him driving in a sort of an old banger car with some sort of stunt driver, and you can't see Noel. This is classic Noel television from the 80s. You can't see him. There's just like a sort of they're in a field, and there's always like children and parents standing around. You're not quite sure why. He's arranged for a crowd to be there. And there's a car, and in front of the car there's a ramp, and in front of the ramp there's a massive like truck, right? One of those trucks where the actual truck itself, the main bit, the cargo holding thing, is soft-sided. Do you know the type I mean, yeah?
Yeah.
And you just hear Noel's voice coming from the car. Well, for yours truly, Noel Edmonds,
Welcome, folks.
This is the fulfillment of something of a life's ambition, because I am about to drive this car through the side of a truck. Right? That's no one's childhood dream, is it? Maybe it is, but it's a weird one. And then he goes, right, let's go. Wish me luck. And then it speeds up, and then you realise he goes, behind the wheel with me is so-and-so, he names driving. You think, oh, so it's not you. You're just the fucking passenger, and you've got a stunt driver to drive the truck. And that's it. They drive at full speed. They drive up the ramp, the car flies off, it goes straight through the fucking truck. And he comes out the other side, and then you just hear Noel's voice going, that's it, we've done it! Like, that is just Noel. His whole approach to television was just thinking of shit that he wanted to do and then turning it into a show.
Fucking hell.
Fair enough.
I've just come across something that should be very diveable, I think. Someone has put on a home video of the YMCA Hurricane Gala from 1984. It's one of the years that Noel Edmonds was there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
at the beginning of it, there's a big poster, and it says Gala, June 2nd and 3rd, sponsored by Joshua Tetley's Brewery. And there are 3 star attractions that are listed, and I'll read them out in order.
Yeah.
1, Noel Edmonds. 2, Rod Hull and Emu.
Oof.
3, live bears.
Fucking hell. Oh
And it's
my God.
18-minute long video of the Hurricane YMCA
incredible.
Gala. Fuck me, this
Fuck,
is going to
man.
be... Oh,
If you could travel back in... People say sometimes, don't they? If you could travel back to any moment in history, what would it be? And people try to say
there's a
things
bear.
that make them look interesting, like the Battle of Waterloo. But if anyone
Yeah.
asks me again, I'm going to name that gala.
Shit, I'll send you the link to this. We'll have to have a look at it. Wow. So, Noel, there we go. He sacked his staff at the winery. He's wore odd shoes on the Isle of Man. These things come in threes. So, I'm wondering what next. There has to be
He'll
something
have
else.
something else planned, yeah, because he goes quiet for a year or maybe more, and then and then suddenly things happen. My
He
strong
gets that itch,
suspicion,
doesn't he?
my strong suspicion is that he'll respond. He'll respond.
Yeah.
He'll issue a statement, and the statement will be like very strange, but the thrust will be these people are liars.
Yeah, and here's why.
Yeah.
Here is a dossier I've compiled on the various liars who have spoken out in the press over the last... Here's a PowerPoint presentation.
When he went through that last thing about the cycle lane, I think it was last year, you probably remember I emailed to his man in London and said, look, I want to go out to New Zealand to interview Noel to get his side of the story. And he went, nah, he won't want to do it. He doesn't want to do any press anymore. That's why he's out there. And I said, yeah, but come on, like, I've interviewed him before. He knows I'm not going to stitch him up. I'll go to him. And the guy goes, you'd have to fly to Auckland.
Yeah.
He went, and then you would have to fucking get... He goes, it's about another 8 hours after you fucking land. The nearest airport is like 8 hours away.
I'll do it.
I said, I don't care, I'll do it. Because I thought, well, the journey itself will be part of the fucking story, going that far. But it was a no-go. But you don't ask, you don't get. I will now put the request in again. I'll say, I've seen Noel has been on manoeuvres again. This is just a further request to go out and see him in New Zealand. I'll get the knock back, but you just got to keep asking.
Can I bring my podcasting friend from the North East as well?
To make a fucking podcast with him.
I'm currently watching footage.
Let me ask you something, Andy. We were talking earlier, like last week or week before, and like, you know, I was saying, I can't remember, I was trying to work out a way that we could get some free travel to exotic places, and you were like, yeah, but who can be asked? You can see all these places online. And I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. I often arrange trips to places, and then when it actually comes around to going there, it gets quite boring. No, not boring. It's never boring, but it's sort of like, oh, fuck. It's like anything in life. It's fun when you're arranging it, and then eventually you've got to actually do it.
Yeah.
But if we had the opportunity to make a hour-long interview podcast with Noel Edmonds, but we had to get there somehow under our own steam and at our own cost, right?
Yeah.
To New Zealand, right? Would you do it?
I wouldn't say no.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we would then try to find out a way of crowdfunding our travel.
Crowdfund from the listeners, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So don't worry about the finances. But yeah, I think that would
get
be
sponsorship.
Yeah, I think it'd be wonderful. Yeah, we'll get Air New Zealand to sponsor it.
I'm watching him taking off on his helicopter in 1984, and it's the helicopter sponsored by Marlborough. For some reason, got big Marlborough fucking branding across the front of it and up the side. Incredible times, incredible man, and we'll never tire of talking about his.
No, we will never stop.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't. There we are. Thank you very much for listening to this bonus episode. We've decided this is going to be in lieu of the Bank Holiday Monday one next week, so you'll not hear anything from us then. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening, and that's that.
That's that.